I'm all about giving you the tools, skills, and ability necessary to achieve whatever goals you have. And that's what this teletraining series is about. That's what the Chiropractic Millionaire Mind program is about. Now, before I turn it over to Dr. Dan and let him take the reins for the next 2 hours, I want to tell you a story. And I want to tell you, this is a story that was actually shared, or it originally came from David Copperfield. And I want to share this story with you because I think that it illustrates to me both my role and Dr. Dan's role in the Chiropractic Millionaire Mind program, and it also illustrates your role in this teletraining program. The story is about a man and a woman in a far-off land that were lacking fulfillment in their life. They weren't happy. They weren't content. They weren't satisfied. They wanted more for themselves. They wanted more in terms of material things. They wanted more in terms of just happiness and joy and fulfillment. They didn't want so much frustration and angst and anxiety. They wanted to live a more fulfilled life. They wanted more out of life. And they heard a rumor about a magician who had incredible powers to give people health and wealth and contentment and fulfillment and just success, all the things that this man and woman were craving. So the man and woman set out on a journey to find this magician because they so wanted to tap into the power that this magician had. So they went from city to city looking for this magician, but no matter where they went, they couldn't seem to find him. So they continued to look. They knew that they weren't going to give up. They refused to give up. Well, one day they came to a city, and as they were asking around, they came to an individual who said, "Yes, I've seen this magician. I know exactly where he is." And the man and woman, they pleaded with this individual, please tell us where this magician is. We've been searching all over. And this individual said, the magician is up on that mountain over there. I just saw him go up and start climbing that mountain not that long ago. So the man and woman immediately ran over to this mountain and started climbing up to the top. And when they eventually got up to the top, they saw, not that far off, they saw this magician sitting on the edge of like a 500-foot cliff, 500-foot drop, if you will. And they didn't want to scare the magician and have him fall off the cliff, so they said, "Psst, magician, psst, psst." And when the magician turned around, the man and woman said, "We've been looking all over for you. We've heard of your powers and your ability to give people incredible health and wealth and fulfillment and joy and happiness, all the things that we so want. Will you please come over here and help us?" And the magician said, "I'll help you, but you need to come to the edge. You need to come over here where I am. To get what it is that you want, you got to come over here." The man and woman looked at each other and they said, no way. No way are we going to the edge. Please come over here where, it's comfortable, where we're okay. Come over here. You're a magician, so you're okay on the edge, but we're just mere mortals. Please come over here. The magician said, "If you want everything that you're after for your life, you need to come over here to the edge." They said no. They were shaking. They were terrified to go over to the edge, to this 500-foot cliff. They didn't want to fall off. They were terrified, and they said, please. They pleaded with this magician to come over to them. And the magician said, "If you want everything you're after in your life, you need to come to the edge." And he finally persuaded this man and woman to come to the edge, and they walked over to the edge, terrified, literally shaking. That's how scared they were. And There was the man on one side and the woman on the other, with the magician in the middle. And the magician just stood there, looking off of that 500-foot cliff, while the man and woman stood on each side of him. And he waited until they started to calm down, and they started to, their fears started to subside. And he noticed out of the corner of his eyes that they weren't shaking anymore, and they started to get a little bit more comfortable. And then he noticed, as he waited a little bit longer, that they got a little bit more comfortable. And then eventually the magician put his arms around the man and the woman on each side of him. Really put his hands like on their neck, just to calm them down even more. And finally the man and the woman were both calm at the edge. And the magician waited until they were calm, until they were in a learning state, in a state where they were ready to learn the secret, if you will, that they've been searching for, the answer that they were looking for to that fulfillment and that contentment and that joy and that success and that health and all of those things. He waited until they were at the perfect learning state. And then he pushed them off the cliff. He pushed them off the cliff. And if the story ended there, it'd be pretty terrible. But when he pushed them off the cliff, that's when they remembered that they could fly. That's when they remembered that they could fly. And the story is really just about how most people, most chiropractors in general, don't think they have what it takes. Or they think that if they had one more strategy or one more tactic or one more trick or one more tip or one more technique or one more something, if they were in a different geographic area or if they had more capital, more money to invest or more time, or they think that if they had one other thing that they could achieve all of their goals and that their life would be perfect. Well, here is the thing that this entire teletraining is based on. You already are perfect inside you. You already have everything that you need inside of you right now. This program is about bringing it out. This program really is about bringing you to the edge, right? That is, I am going for sure. Dr. Dan is much more conservative than I am, and probably more compassionate than I am, but I am going to bring you to the edge. I'm going to get you out of your comfort zone. And it is going to be a little scary for you over the next 4 teletrainings, but the thing you need to understand is it's at that edge where most people, most chiropractors quit. They're either unwilling to go to the edge, they're either unwilling to get out of their comfort zone, they're either unwilling to push themselves to that point, or they're just afraid of it. But that's where the breakthroughs happen, when you're willing to get out of your comfort zone and you're willing to expand your perspective. And that's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Dan in about 60 seconds, but that's what I want you to do. I want you to have an open mind. I want you to promise me and promise yourself that you are going to have an open mind for these 4 teletraining classes. And listen, and honestly reflect when you hear Dr. Dan share with you, and when I share with you, honestly reflect on where you're lacking, or where you're not lacking, what you need, what you don't need. But I would ask that you would commit to going to the edge. And if you do, I promise you that this will be an incredible experience for you.